What would your kids say about you kissing somebody?
Jesus is Lord. Sorry, Lord, I'm saying your name in vain. It was a humble conversation up until that point. You know, I can't lie to you. There was a little bit of a battle between the two of them. And you know, it was. I was not on either anybody's side. She said you didn't see me. He said that you didn't see me. I was thinking to myself, they're both problematic in this situation. You're both were avoiding each other, probably trying to, you know, use other people that you had to make each other jealous. That's what I was thinking, right? You had Kavea, she had Mark Anthony, you know, and I thought you guys were trying to make each other jealous. It was great up until that point where Demario absolutely loses it. And I don't know if it's emotional regulation. I don't know if he's actually controlling him in long-term relationships, but something just flips in that moment for him to ask that nuts of a question. It was shame tactic, guilt tactic in that immediate moment, which I just think was shambolic. But I want to get you guys' thoughts around Demario and Jeffrey and his comments as well. So I'll see who wants to go first. Whoever give me a little something, I'll choose you, baby. Oh, Bree, your lip moved. Go for it. There we go.
Dang, I was trying to look away. Okay, so Demario and Jeffrey. That was totally uncalled for. I mean, this is just my opinion. I feel like low key he was trying to call her a whore. And it's kind of like, I mean, you just did a whorish thing. What in the world would your kids think? You're on TV kissing another man. And that's what I kind of feel like he was trying to get at without really telling her. I'm really shocked at the response she kind of gave him. I thought she was really going to go off on him. But she kind of held her composure about it. I'm glad that she let him know, like, hey, Mark Anthony's pursuing me, and you kind of ignored me on the boat. So it's kind of like, well, what am I supposed to do? Demario is, to me, very insecure. Because if I was him, I would have played it off. I wouldn't have let you know that you hurt my feelings about that. But he didn't. I just think it was rude, and I think he should have had like a mature conversation. He could have just been like, hey, I didn't really think that was cool. It made me feel some type of way. And he did tell her, you could have said no. You didn't have to do the dare. He just should have went about it a different way. But that throwing her kids into it, that was just not right. It shows kind of his character and the person that he is. And it seems to me like he really wants Jeffrey, but he's trying to play it like, I don't want you anymore. But I do think at that moment he still did. And maybe he thought her response would be different towards him, like, oh, I'm sorry. But she kind of flipped it on him and was like, well, I don't feel bad about it. I mean, it was a dare. I like Mark Anthony. He was coming for me, and it is what it is. So I don't know. I'm kind of glad those two are kind of like at the end. He really should apologize to her, but of course that didn't happen. I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but I don't know. But I am glad Jeffrey kept her cool, because I don't think a lot of people would, especially you bringing my kids into it. That has nothing to do with that. So I don't know. But yeah, it just wasn't good. And I'm not feeling what he did at all.
Love that breakdown, Bree. Thank you. Love that breakdown. Who wants to go next, guys? Thank you, Sophie. Your hand moved to your chin. Love that.
She did refer to him as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And I noticed he said the kiss was it for him. He said that was a hard no from him. The fact that he saw her kiss. He did go too far. He was hurt. And again, I think this is the point that we were trying to make earlier, is they had a good first date. He might have been all in, or he might have been very interested. But again, you have to see people in different situations and not just fall for, their appearance. Your first impressions are not the best impressions usually. So yeah, I think it was rude. He did go too far. He didn't have to bring up her kids. He was trying to shame her. And as she handled Blake in the past, she handled him as well with a lot of maturity, and it didn't, she didn't come out of her body or react any aggressively towards him. Yeah, he might have some insecurities. This might be a way that he reacts when he gets hurt. That visual of seeing her kiss another guy completely did something in him. And I think I mentioned this on our last review, is it's the difference between when you hear someone's cheating on you than when you actually visualize seeing them cheat on you. Especially for men, I think that even for women, that does something to you that you can't go back to. Maybe that's what happened between them two. Also, Jefferi said he ignored her. So I think, Kojo, you were saying maybe they were playing games, trying to make each other jealous, and again, was that necessary? If he's ignoring her, she went ahead and said, okay, well, at least Mark Anthony was putting the pressure on. You weren't putting pressure on, but Mark Anthony was. So she yielded towards him more. Would I have kissed him? No, I wouldn't have kissed him in the lips. I think she could have definitely chose the cheeks, but that doesn't mean she needs to be shamed for doing what she did. She's a grown woman. She decided she was feeling Mark Anthony at that point. That has nothing to do with Demario. I think he could have, took the loss and let it be. The Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, him switching real quick like that. Again, it takes a while to know a person, right? Vet a person out, see them in different situations. It's easy to fall for the first impression, but people will slowly reveal themselves to you. You might have the heart to love them. You might have the temperance. You might have the forgiveness to keep loving them, but sometimes you don't. And in this case, it seems like both of them drew a line and said,
Good breakdown. Appreciate it, Sophie. Yeah, Jay did it. She smiled. Sorry, Jay.
I knew that dago was for a reason. Listen, though I am not for all of Jefferi's antics and things, and sometimes the way she behaved, I feel in this setting, she was well in her right of how she acted going towards, especially the end after the children's comment. She did have a little bit of that same energy, that little combative energy, but she was honest. She was straightforward with all how she felt, where things was going with it and whatnot. You could tell that she was already off of him anyway, so it makes it a little easier when you're off somebody to be straightforward and honest with them. I'm not feeling you anymore. So I got that. I was with Demario up until the kids thing. It was just, we weren't feeling each other. I'm not feeling you. You wasn't feeling me. You wasn't checking for me. I wasn't checking for you. Yeah. I get the kiss thing because, like Sophie said, when you see it in person, it's a totally different thing. When you're feeling somebody and you have a different opinion about them in your head, and you see them do this this thing that comes out of left field, you don't know where it came from. He don't know about the date that her and Mark Anthony had prior to it. He don't know nothing about it, and of course, she didn't tell him. She didn't have to share that information with him, so that blindsided him. And I can feel his pain in that moment. But that kid comment was something totally different. Just like Sophie said, he could have said, you could have turned your head. You didn't have to do the kiss. I understand it was a game. And she's sitting there like, well, it was a game. We had to do it. No, you didn't have to. You're grown. That was a choice that you made. But at that time, she made that choice. Now you're making the choice to try to shame her with using her kids. Wrong move, sir. That's not what we're going to do. Okay, she is well aware she's on TV. She's well aware that her kids can see this or whatever. I was with you all the way when he even said that you don't know this man. Like, you went on one date with him and you do not know this man. I feel you, man. Look, it's the big C out here. You can't just be all putting your lips on everybody, that creates different emotions. But at the end of the day, she was grown. She made her grown decision. You made your grown decision to say, you know what, I'm no longer on you. You should have left it at that. You could have gave that truth right there. It's like, well, once you did that, I decided I'm going to go left. So good luck to you and Mark Anthony. And that's it. You did not have to try to bring her kids up into this and try to tell her, what would your kids think or whatever. I'm gonna tell you now, she handled that way better than I probably would have. That petty would have jumped out of me so fast. I've been trying to reach it back on screen. Y'all to see me try to reach my petty back, and it'd have been going in on this man like my kid. Like, don't ever bring my kid up into my thing. You ain't never met my kid before. It went off. Okay, so I commend her for handling it the way she did. But because she is a petty woman, I knew she could. I know she could do. Let the petty be just subtle, and she was hitting them where it hurts or whatever. Because sometimes when you have people in their emotions, the less emotions you show them, the more emotional they get, the more in their feelings they get, the more they hurt they get. So she hit a Joe Buttons on him, and he was Tahiri in this situation, and it worked. It worked in her favor or whatnot, because here we are, kind of like a little bit. I'm not going to even say I'm on her team, but I feel her in that moment. Like, she was honest. She could have been nicer about her honesty. Yes, she could have been more politer, more softer in it, because that feminine side y'all love to say that she have, it wasn't showing in this moment. But she was well in her right to stand on her ground, say, I kissed this man because you wasn't showing me the attention that I wanted, and he's my top choice right now. He was wrong for using the kids in that moment.
Love that, Jay. Love that. You know what is mad? I personally, I think, you guys have made a great point, Sophie and Jay, highlighting the fact that, seeing someone kiss someone is tight. I ain't gonna lie to you. Would I mind if it was me? Of course I'm not gonna mind it's me. You know what I mean? But do I want to see someone else kiss the girl that I like? No. And would it have affected me in this situation? Hell yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you. It would. I would watch how I'd move, because I think everything's about decency. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're willing to kiss someone in that, you're making a definite statement. Like, you know what I'm saying? If it's done behind the scenes, we don't see. But if it's done in front of people, it wasn't just done in front of me, it's done in front of the whole group. You're asking me to look like a dickhead. That's what you're basically saying to me. You're saying to me that you want me now to wife you up after you've been lit to another man. You're treating me like a dickhead. Do you know what I mean? No, you are definitely treating me like a dickhead. Do you know what I'm saying? But having said that, Demario could have held that ground. But my issue here, Demario, is that after the situation, you decided to pop off in a particular way, which I think was despicable. I personally think it showed a lack of self-restraint emotionally. I get that you might have been frustrated and might have been annoyed, but I need you to use your words, and not in that particular way. I mean, I needed you to be vulnerable in that moment and tell her, hey, do you know what? When I saw the kiss, it affected me. It made me feel some type of way towards you. I thought we had a connection, and here's what the kiss means to me. When you kiss another dude, this is what it means to me, right? But he went full on, and like, that comment was the first part. But when you see the confessional after, that's when I started saying, oh my days, brother done lost his goddamn mind. Okay, God, I'm so sorry again. I'm using him in vain. But it's like he done lost his mind, because how are you, if you had said that comment, it was bad enough. But then to add the other part of the comment where she on free strike or whatever, free bullets. I said, wait, 3 bullets? What's the 3 bullets he talking about? Then he said, the first bullets, I ain't seen her without makeup. I said, oh? I said, no, you're the kind of guy that when it doesn't get your way, or when it's not working, you start to break the person down. That's what it's giving me. You know what I mean? What you saying, Jay?
See, he's that brother that we talked about when guys do that same thing when they break up with you, and it was like you was ugly anyway. That's him.
That's
him.
Exactly him. I can't lie
to
you. I can't lie to you. He is one of those, because that was ridiculous.
The number, and they'd be like, "You ugly anyway. I didn't want your number anyway." It's like, yeah, you did. You just asked for it. Like, bro, stop. Like, but it was the last one of the 3. It was the last one of the 3 when he sat there and said, "And you don't even know this man."
I was like, that is not why you're saying what you're saying. He's problematic. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't rock with that, and I'm so, like, I agree with the panel. I'm surprised that I'm surprised that she didn't even go harder on the comment about the kid situation as well. So yeah, that was interesting as well. Okay, who hasn't spoken yet? I know I have Johan on the panel as well. JR, go for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna start by saying, listen, man, he had no reason to bring up the kids that she has. because she's fully aware that she's got kids, and she's fully aware that she's on TV, and she's fully aware that anything she does is probably going to be shown, and she's going to be sitting back watching it with the kids to say, there's mom on TV. So I'm pretty sure she was very deliberate, and she made no bones about it. She said, listen, they're going to see their mom trying to make a connection with someone that she's connected with, right? So that's where I'll start. But let's be real. They ignored each other on the boat because they were both occupied with other people. So even before the kiss happened, they stopped talking from then. That little horse riding date where she pretended or faked or lied about her previous horse riding experience. That date, they connected, but they probably didn't keep up contact after that, which is why she said, like, you didn't call me, we haven't spoken, and blah, blah, blah. Jefferi says she has a connection with Mark Anthony. It seems to be mutual to some extent. But we find out in the ladies' lounge that he's already told people that he doesn't want to be with someone who has kids. So I'm not sure about that Mark Anthony connection, even though they've kissed anyway. But back to Demario. I think he said in his confessionals on the boat that kiss was like, that was it for him. Like, after seeing that, he was like, nah, it's a hard no, right? I think that was his exact words. It was a hard no for him. And I don't think there was any recovering whatever connection they had after that. That one date on the horse wasn't enough. It wasn't deep enough. They're not connected. So I don't think they had any problem being petty and getting a bit grimy at the date. They're not feeling each other no more. So it's like the gloves came off. He triggered her with the kids' comment. He was already triggered by the kiss in front of his face with Mark Anthony. And then, like you said, probably being made to feel like a fool for still trying to pursue a connection with her when she already has a top connection that isn't him. So he's not trying to play second. He's got Curveyor now, or had her before she went home. And now that he's gone home, hopefully him and Curveyor can catch up after the show and they can continue to connect on that level. So that's all I got for that. But I do have smoke for Jefferi, but just not quite yet.
I hear that. Thank you very much, Dale. Johan, welcome to the conversation.
Hey, how's it going, Kojo? Good evening, everyone. How you guys doing?
It's going good, sir. It's going good, sir. How you doing, man?
What's up, Sean? How you doing?
I'm good, brother. The ladies are loving you, brother. So listen, enjoy it.
I can't really see the comments, so I won't even worry about that right now. So, but are we talking about Demario and Jefferi?
Jefferi situation, yeah, their little situation. What was your thoughts?
Honestly, I think the brother was just kind of he just got his feeling hurt because he had just lost the other young lady, what her name was, Corvea. So he was just catching L's, So not only was he trying to like save the one that he actually like felt like he wanted to pursue, and he lost that one, then he turns around and he's losing Jefferi again. So I think that by the time he got to the date with her, he wasn't thinking straight. He was just emotionally like over there. And then that's maybe something he needs to work on for the future as far as like working on emotional regulation. Because he could have saved his spot on the show and even with Jefferi by just focusing on a connection that he had with her. I mean, he's not a bad looking guy. I mean, she's feeling him. Like, he could have just stayed consistent, continued to talk to her. And like Jara said, we don't even think that they were talking after they went to the riding the horses. That should have been his moment. Like, that should have been like his Clifton and Joy moment right there. Like, locking in the rest of the season, you guys are like 1-1. Now, if Jefferi wants to weigh in with other men, you can always talk to other lady on the show too. At the end of the day, it is a competition at this point. So I think he just got very emotional with everything else.
Good points, bro. Good points. I appreciate you, Han. Thank you for choosing to join this panel today as well. The ladies are showing us their tails. There's no decorum in these streets. Okay, the thirst is running.
What's going on? I don't see the
Thirst.
comments.
So you don't need to see it because there's too much
Thank
thirst
God.
all over our
Okay.
screens.
They are there. This is now this is the energy that we've been telling y'all we want. So that's how
Well,
we
you
know.
better show up in white, Sean. You better show up in chocolate and white.
Listen, I got on off-white.
I got on off-white.
Wait, no, Sean, you got to come in brown. Sean, you got to come in brown.
Spectrum, and it's the winter, so I don't have my summer color.
No, Sean, you got to come in brown. That sets off the tone of your skin.
Let me go change real quick.
Oh, now I can see the comments.
This is what we're talking about. But you know what this shows us? This shows us exactly when you are attracted to somebody, women will pay a compliment. And when you're not, you won't. So you do understand attraction and you enjoy it. So look, I'm not hating at all. I actually appreciate it, So
we understand attraction, and we understand that when y'all be talking, sometimes it turns us more on or it turns us more off.
I don't spoke too much on this platform, so it's ruined at this point. Listen, I'm definitely secure, and I can appreciate y'all appreciating, another brother. So please inundate him with the love, send some, give him your Cash App, Johan. So they can.
Yeah, they're gonna be trying to write their number and the amount of money they send them.
You need to put your cash up, underneath your name, bro.
Give them your IG, your Facebook. You
need to put your cash up underneath your name, sir.
Well, I'm gonna edit my description so I can add my Instagram on there.
There you go.
I don't know about Cash App, but I put my Instagram on there. So if anybody wants to follow me out, I always follow back.
This man is brave.
I'm sorry.
This chat.
Oh, that's right. Thanks, Jay. I don't know about that. That's right.
No. And let me shut up because I might be blocking for your future somebody out there.
Bro, they got water. They got wet emojis, watermarks, all next to your name, bro. You getting the ladies moist.
Are we getting back to the show, guys?
I love it. I love it.
Chat. Bump on. They ready to love our little black book.
Like
ready to bust.
We need more men on this panel.
Yeah, right.
Now I'm be like Jefferi. The ladies are thirsty in here. No.
I appreciate it, bro. We have to show you a bit of love. We have to show you a bit of love to you, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It means a lot to me, honestly. All the compliments and the love and everything else. That's for me. It's coming on a platform like this, being able to interact with you guys. It means a lot to me because I'm a fan of the show, but I also love the conversation that the platform is bringing, which is like healthy communication between Black men and Black women, where we can all reconcile as far as Black love and really establishing our expectations. So there's more Black families out there because that's how we can fix our community. And for me, now being American, being able to come on here and exchange with everybody else, it means a lot to me because at the end of the day, we all Black, we all want this thing to move forward. And I really enjoy conversation like this. So thanks for having me again.
What's your origin
all
from?
Right.
So I'm originally from Gabon. It's West Central Africa. It's south from Cameroon, and we are a French colony. So my accent is French.
Congratulations on your inauguration into this place.
Into the panel. You know what, guys? You know what? JR, yeah, bye. Yeah, Sean, bye. Yeah, Kojo, you know what?
What are you doing? Yo,
all right, so we're moving on to the next couple now.
What's going on?
So I don't know what happened. Johan, and we are going to auction Johan off.
After that speech, we're not needed. Okay,
we're not needed anymore. Where's Sean?
The men bag. Stop
it. Where did you go?
In fact, let me do this. So put the yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
You guys
All right,
are
cool.
I say
Sorry.
just take us off, take the ladies off because
Huh?
they don't want to see us no more. Look.
Yeah, I had to make it shine an example. Sorry, who hasn't spoken? I know there's one more person that's spoken. Sean, is it you? Have we not spoken about Demario and Jefferi? Go for it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's anything much that I can say that anyone's going to care to hear after all the Johan, but I'll give it a shot. Um, I think. Listen, well, the one thing I will say that's different from what everybody else said, because I think we're all on the same page, that the way Demario handled the kiss, although it can be awkward seeing somebody that you like and have a connection with kiss someone else in front of you. So we get the awkwardness and the uncomfortability of all of that. However, when you are an adult and you're grown, you don't just fly off the handle and just say insensitive, rude things to someone. So listen, I'm not the biggest Jefferi fan, but I got to say she handled herself pretty well in light of the situation. But the one thing that kind of aggravated me is that expression, oh, you wasn't applying the pressure. Like, take that pressure. What is that? I can't stand that terminology. It really aggravates me. In dating, we shouldn't be applying pressure to anybody in any way. We should be getting to know someone and show interest. So if you mean he wasn't showing interest, if you mean that he wasn't giving you the indication that you were interested, but that to me doesn't make sense, because she said he was in her top. So had his communication fallen off? What really happened? Because don't tell me about no pressure. All right, don't tell me about no pressure. Because you sound like city girls up when you start talking that foolishness. So that's my thought on that. But again, I got to say she handled herself well. Don't talk about her kids. Don't talk about what her kids would think. That's none of your concern. You should be concerned about you. And if you were upset about the kiss, then you should let her know, hey, listen, I really liked you. And it just bothered me a bit to see you kissing Mark Anthony. But he got a thing with Mark Anthony anyway, because they was tussling over Corvea and him wanting to use his lifeline, to save Corvea, which was goofy anyway. It was too early on. It was too soon to be trying to save Corvea. So I'm glad the other guys stepped up and said, no, we're not going to do that, because it just doesn't make sense. And again, this confessional look with this blazer buttoned up while you're sitting down irks me. So I really want him to do better. Reach out to one of his fellow cast members, Demetrius, who can give him some style consultations, because it just completely irks my soul to see him sitting there bunched up with the buttons like hanging on for dear life. That's very annoying to me. And if you want to pursue a lady, right, and you're a grown man, you got to look like a grown man. And I mean, I'm not saying you need to wear fancy designer clothes, but whatever clothes you have should fit well, should look good on you. I'm big on that. And presentation is everything. So maybe that's why Jefferi didn't kiss him. Maybe that's why Mark Anthony got the kiss and he didn't. But seems like Corvea is still interested in him as she exited stage left. So he could go where he's welcome. Don't go where you're tolerated. Go where you're, whatever the expression is. She wants you. So go and follow behind her and see where that leads you. My thoughts.
Yeah, go for
Can
it.
I just
Go for
add
it.
something quickly?
Before you go, JR,
There was just something that
Yeah.
came to my mind.
Before you go, Sophie had her mic open first. Sorry.
Oh yeah, so go on, Sophie. Sorry.
Oh, I didn't mean to. I'm sorry. I did not mean
Oh,
to.
okay, JR, go for it. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, right? Like, so she's saying that Demario didn't add enough pressure, right? Now we've seen that Demario can kind of I won't say he's controlling, right? But he's done some things on some of the previous episodes where it was like, he's kind of got too much to say about certain things, right? But yet she hates Blake for apparently applying pressure when they first started interacting from the mixer, right? Because that's the only interaction that they've had, like the mixer. So she went and blabbed about, he's controlling, he's da-da-da-da-da. But she hasn't had that same energy for Demario, even though Demario seems to be somewhat possessive by what we've seen. The kiss, but previously as well, like he's just said a few things where it's just like, He's kind of like very judgmental. So I just found that interesting that she didn't call out Demario for being a narcissist and, oh yeah, he's trying to control me and he's trying to da-da-da. But obviously she did express in the lounge what he said, and that was bad enough.
Kojo, if I may, Gerard, you also got to remember that Demario was kind of focused on Corvea. So like with everything that kind of like happened at the dinner between him and Jefferi, although he was out of line, I don't think she was really like emotionally invested in what was going on. And that's the thing with her so far, where, you know, although she's not very popular, she knows how to really like communicate through the game and the BS of the show, where she's always looking like she is very, you know, thoughtful, like mature about it. And that all started with like when Blake went ahead and confronted her and did not want to like really say what he'd heard from Sue-Ann. So I think like Jefferi wasn't really involved in the whole Demario shebang, and Demario himself wasn't really involved with Jefferi until he really saw her getting a kiss. Because remember, like you said, they didn't really talk after the hosting. So it's like now that you lost your connection, and then the number two is getting a kiss, all of a sudden, you know, she's your number one, and you want to flip the table and talk about this lady kid at a date, you know? So it's kind of like a little too late to like act the way he did. And maybe that's why we didn't really see like a pull from both of them energy, but yeah. Dang, it got quiet. Did I say something bad or?
No.
I hear your point, bro. I kind of agree with you. I see exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sophie.
I was gonna say Demario definitely gives passive aggressive, right? And a lot of the stuff that came out, he was holding a lot back. He was holding a lot back about Jefferi. So yeah, those are definitely signs of a lot of things. Again, if you're not being genuine, if you're seeing things about me that you don't like and you're holding it in and then you use it as a weapon to attack me later on if I don't react a certain way towards you, yeah, definitely problematic. The comments are killing me right now, but yes.
Since JR did jump ahead to the ladies' lounge part or whatever, that's what I was going to speak on. And I hear you, Johan. However, in the first lady lounge, she threw Blake under the bus for, I don't know what order it went in. If Sue said that she got a nickname first, or she threw him under the bus first, or whatever, for that same reason. And I waited purposely for this lady lounge to pop up to see exactly what she was going to say about Demario. Demario gave way more energy as being controlling, aggressive, passive aggressive, like all of those things that she was saying. I won't say that he gave narc energy or whatever, but he was giving a lot of the negative energy she was saying that Blake was giving. And I was waiting for her to give that same energy in this lounge, and she didn't. She just kind of gave him like the little bit a softer pass in this lounge. And so, like you said, I do agree with you on this point, Johan, that she's off of him. And so she didn't give that energy, but she wasn't off of Blake when she gave that energy. She's off of Blake now, but at that time she was hurt.
Well, you also got to understand, like a man with the arrogance that Blake has sometimes can rub women the wrong way. That it will easily like go the extra mile. Well, you know, so like they would just go that one extra mile just so they can get the upper hand, hurt you or put you in a position just because you be acting a little like, you know, you're too good, you know. Like she probably just did that because she was just like tired of him being so cold. I mean, like, I'm not gonna lie, the brother out there is like the Undertaker at those dates, like no personality or nothing. So it's even hard for me to watch it as a man. So yeah, I totally get it. Maybe it was just the fact that she had that much dislike for Blake that she went so hard on that at the ladies' lounge, you know.
I would like to say this, like, I think she did actually genuinely like him, and that she felt that she was his only option at the time. And then when it didn't happen that way for her, you know, I think it just crossed her the wrong way and she was off of him. She's off of people like,
that's
you
true.
do something wrong, she off of you. So we'll see.
We don't know her top connection.
Yeah. Like right now she say Mark Anthony, but then I seen her face a couple of times. He don't want a woman with kids. So like that took her for shock too. So I'm like, okay, you I'll get to it later when we get there.
Anyone else with points about the pressure? Applying pressure?
While the ladies are applying pressure to Johan, somebody's comment, I almost lost it. I had to go on camera. They said they're not even paying attention. They just see your lips move. They're not paying attention, bro.
What did they say?
They're not even paying attention. They lost track of what you were saying. They were just looking at you. That's
at this point, y'all, I can tell y'all he want 30% of a baby and anything, and y'all gonna be like, okay, take it.
He could say 50-50, and they'd be like, sign me up. Matter of fact, we can do 70-30.
Whatever you feeling, whatever you're putting down, I'm taking
90-10. They'll be auctioning. I can't get a 90-10. I get a 90-10.
They'll be putting out Johan's care on the dates.
Come on, Gerald. Don't add nothing else. Don't add nothing else. Gerald, don't add anything else. Coach, are we going to talk about whoever I want to talk about? Where are we going next?
Johan's like, listen, it's too tight for me.
These ladies want to know if you ready to love.
He already said he's not ready to. He's not in that space.
Let's not even go there because last time this chat was anyway
warring.
Yeah. The West. Chat was ablaze.
I'll save you, bro. Okay, cool. We'll move it on. We'll move it on to who's my next couple? Sorry, I didn't write notes because I'm gonna misread the name. All right, cool, fantastic. We're gonna move on to the actual. I don't know if you guys would. I'll do it quickly. The date between the four of them. So when Blake, Marcy had their little date, just want to quickly get you guys' thoughts on that as well. What you guys saw, what you gleaned from that situation as well. Let's play a little clip and we'll have a little conversation.
Beautiful. The only thing missing from Blue artwork was me.
I'm so jealous. Yours is 3D, and I just